Good morning, everyone. I hope you and your families are doing well. In today's Halacha, we are going to discuss the concept of Hazara, which means returning food on fire during Shabbat. So, obviously, we all want to eat hot food on Shabbat. It's an important mitzvah to eat hamin, and therefore we have to use either the hot plate, either the blech, like we explained yesterday. The question is, what happens when you want to return, you want to put again the food on top of the hot plate or the blech during Shabbat? So we have here two main issues. The issue number one is an issue from the Torah called bishul, which means cooking. You may be cooking by doing so we have to solve this. And the second issue is called mihzeh kemevashel. It looks like you're cooking. This issue is midirabanan from the Chachamim, but not less important than the first one. So let's get this in order. Regarding the issue of bishul, it depends if the food is dry or moist. So if you have food that is like rice or pasta, even if you have a little bit of sauce, a little bit of liquid, but the majority of it is a solid, and technically speaking, you never have an issue of bishul once it's already cooked. Because we hold en bishul achar bishul. There is no issue of cooking after cooking. So even if the food is cold, since the food is cooked, you are allowed to put it back, and there is no issue of bishul on Shabbat. However, when the food is moist, mostly moist, like a soup or like a stew, that you have a lot of liquid inside, then in this situation, being cooked is not enough. It also has to be warm, it has to be hot. Because we hold, we Sephardim following Shulchan Aruch, that yesh bishul achar bishul bedavar lach. There is cooking after cooking in something moist. So this is regarding the first issue. Now I'm going to add one little tiny detail that is interesting to know according to Chacham Ovadia. If you have moist food, so it's a lot of liquid that is cold, and the plata, the hot plate, is not on yet, so it has a timer, for example, and it will turn on in 5 minutes, according to Chacham Ovadia, you are allowed to put that food on the plata, because right now the plata is not on. I'm not going to say the why, but this is what he holds, so it's an interesting detail that we should remember in case this happens. Now let's go to the second issue, and the second issue is mihzeh kemevashel. It looks like you're cooking. So for this reason, Shulchan Aruch says that it has to be Hazara, meaning that you are returning the food. If you are putting it in the first place, for example, that you put the food al gabe karka on the floor, and now you decide, you know what, I'm going to put it back on the fire, that's asur, because we see this as a new action on Shabbat, as if you are about to cook. And even if the food itself is already cooked and there is no problem of bishul from the Torah, but it looks like you are cooking, and therefore Chachamim say that you're not allowed, so you have to make sure that it's not on the floor, that it's on the table, or that according to the Rama you have to hold it ve'odan biyado in your hand. And the second tenai in Shulchan Aruch is da'ato le'achazira, that you also have in mind from the beginning to put it back there. This is all to solve the issue of mihzeh kemevashel. However, in today's day, that we have the hot plate of Shabbat, the plata of Shabbat, that is just for Shabbat, just used for Shabbat, just like we said yesterday, that there is no issue of mihzeh kemevashel because it's only used for Shabbat, so you are allowed, according to Chacham Ovadia, to put it on the plata even from the fridge, even if the food is coming from the fridge, or you put it kalvachomer if it's on the floor, on an area that you had no da'at, no intention to put it back on the plata. The fact that it's a plata of Shabbat makes the issue of mihzeh kemevashel out of the context, and you will be allowed to put it back on the plata itself on Shabbat. Have an amazing day and Shabbat Shalom.